There are people who represent the whole counties, and I'm not hearing them. They're not making requests. So what do they represent then? So, the Honorable Ogola, member for Bondo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we are really at a time that as a country again we may want to look at how come a single commodity can be taxed 100%? Or can the committee check again in terms of which other commodities are taxed to this direction? Because I think that's exactly what's going to help us as a country. What's happening in energy? That there are problems in power, there's problems in gas, there are problems in gasoline, there are problems in many other things. What is happening? That the whole arrangement and the whole target is only on the energy sector. So, Mr. Speaker, as the committee looks at this the way you directed, I want to believe that the committee may want to check again what others and what is the effect of these others on the economy compared to energy or compared to fuel. Because at the moment, what we are seeing, the spiraling effect of issues of increasing fuel prices against, for example, increase of a price of another commodity that would be attracting closer tax as that of fuel. So, Mr. Speaker, I think the committee needs to go a little bit beyond what you are directing, so that it helps this House in checking really the extent at which other commodities can also be looked at for purposes of taxation. And to the extent that when we are looking at those other commodities, to what effect do they, or what effect do they have on the economy in general? So, Mr. Speaker, I think there's quite a bit that the committee needs to do for purpose of making sure that we bring this country back to its feet. Thank you.
Honorable Duale.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, this House must rise to the occasion. And let me be very clear and tell the country that this House rejected the increase and the putting of VAT on petroleum. And Mr. Speaker, the President used his powers under Article 115. Speaker, that is provided for by the Constitution in order the President to protect the Constitution and the excesses of the legislature. But never, I have looked at even other jurisdictions, President Obama in his 8 years used that power, the veto power, 4 times. President Uhuru Kenyatta has used more than any other president, over 35 times. So, Mr. Speaker, the country must know it's not parliament. And somebody, in fact, we need to go and to Judge Odunga and Judge Joel Ngugi to give us an interpretation of Article 115. Let me come back to this matter of fuel. Mr. Speaker, 78 shillings of every liter we buy of fuel goes to taxation. And I want to tell the House that 78 excise duty, 15 shillings per liter. Road maintenance, 18 shillings. Petroleum development, 7 shillings. Petroleum levy, 2 shillings. Come to VAT, 12 shillings on petrol, 8 shillings on diesel. Cumulatively, Mr. Speaker, out of the 145 shillings you pay per liter, 78 goes to. And it is factual, it is in the books. Mr. Speaker, this House must rise to the occasion. We must bring a bill, Mr. Speaker, and give us, you have the powers, give us that waiver. And you want to become a candidate in the next election. Yes. This is good for you. It's good for you, Mr. Speaker. Let us not wait for Wanga, the chair. The House was on recess. She should have prepared her bill. Mr. Speaker, the President cannot use Article 115 to harass. And the whole thing is about IMF, Mr. Speaker. IMF have said we must charge VAT. This President is using his powers to make innocent hustlers and Kenyans suffer, Mr. Speaker. And this House cannot just sit and debate. Mr. Speaker, allow a private member to bring a bill tomorrow, allow him a waiver on the pre-publication period. By next week, Tuesday, the bill goes to the President. He brings a veto. We raise the 2/3 majority, and we disagree with the President, Mr. Speaker. Each and every member here must rise to the occasion. It is not business as usual. We must reduce the 78 shilling in form of taxes and levies.
Honorable Nyikal, member for Seme.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, let me thank Honorable Mule for bringing this petition and Honorable Arati for asking for motion of adjournment, because that signifies the importance of this. But may I also thank you, Mr. Speaker, for directing on two things, actually three, that it goes to the Committee of Finance. Two, they look into the reasons for the rise other than the taxes as we know them. And three, they come with the bill so that we move forward and make a difference. But Mr. Speaker, let me also say that they should also look at EPRA, the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority. I know it has the mandate to actually regulate the prices, but is it only regulating the prices using some formula to reach a figure and putting that figure out without looking at the impact and advising the government necessary? Normally in those situations, if you find that the formula you are using, the policy you are using is hurting the system, it is your duty to also advise that we can, at this rate, we'll go to this level and this is the impact. Do we do it or not? I think they also need to look at the role of EPRA, and if we need to amend some laws to give it that authority, it is important. They are the first people to come in contact with the increase. And Mr. Speaker, I know that there are some times of the month that dealers actually decline to sell because they are anticipating. Sometimes they even seem to know the prices that are coming. So I think the role of EPRA is also important to find out. Mr. Speaker, the other thing I think EPRA should do, they actually regulate prices, the pump price against the landing cost. But in between, nothing happens. And actually what has happened to small business in the petroleum is that the importers, which are normally international companies and big companies, actually deny them any margin at all, so that you are actually creating monopoly in the petroleum industry, so that there are only big operators. And big operators, monopolies, tend to control systems in all sorts of ways. If they would also regulate the price to resellers, so that you have a large number of resellers, it would also be important in price regulation. So I think we need to also look at EPRA. If it is not the mandate, we'll give it the mandate. But Mr. Speaker, let me also comment lastly on the issue of the presidential veto powers. The buck stops with us. We need 233. We can do that. But I'm surprised that Honorable Duale can say this, while when all those many times were going on, he was actually the leader of majority.
Member for Samburu North.
But he was not the president.